Kia ora and welcome to Rugby League Park in Christchurch for the Bartercard Premiership semi-final between Canterbury and Wellington. Bit of an overcast day here in the Garden City, but we're hoping for some hot action as these two proud regions do battle to score themselves a spot in the final. Joining us today for the commentary is Peter Ropati. Kia ora to you, Pete.
Kia ora to you, Dale, and some wonderful memories of trips down this part of the world, and I guess more importantly, it's good to come back to a place that previously known as the Addington Showgrounds, now Rugby League Cup is what's in front of them all, but this is the way they all travelled coming to the final here this afternoon or to the semi.
Well, Canterbury have been quite outstanding, as the scorelines will suggest, bar that close call against the boys from Auckland. They've had big wins over the Bay of Plenty and also Wellington's road to the final here. Have a look at this one. They had a big win against Taranaki. They dropped a couple of games, including one against the Wellingtonians, against Canterbury just a few weeks ago, but from all accounts, they have improved. Let's have a look at their lineup as well. There's some of the top players to keep an eye out for the Wellingtonians, and some good names in here this afternoon. None more so than their little number 7, Anton Wedita.
Well, when you look at Wellington, you look at this rugby league competition as well. It's good to see that tradition is alive, and there's some names in this lineup this afternoon as well, which reinforce that, in particular the Henry, the part of the whānau from the Whare and Whetu, former Kiwis as well, but a wonderful lineup.
So let's have a look. We'll start off in the engine room. Vincent, Kemp and Gubb up front. Hogan and Sartoris. Paddy Matulino is in 13 today. And through the backs, Dean comes with big raps today. Gregorius, Henry, Mulu, Whairamo and Tamaiva. And as I say, Captain Anton Wedita, he's the man to steer them around the park today.
Well, you've already mentioned him, Dean. He was the man of the match between Wainui and Poirua. That's their final in the capital city. But it is the back rowers in the form of Hogan and Sartorius. They're the guys that will trouble the Canterbury side here this afternoon. They're coached by none other than the much-travelled Trevor Clark.
Trevor, you got well beat by the Canterbury Bulls last time. What's changed?
Mate, well, 3 weeks ago, things were pretty tough for us. We just basically came into the competition. And now we're a lot better side. We've had games under our belt, and obviously we're a lot more confident.
And where's it going to be won, and who should we keep an eye out for?
Well, it's funny, Dale. This game of rugby league is always one up front, and as long as our guys can shut the ruck area up and be really positive and work hard in the middle, we're pretty confident we can come away with a good result.
And some names?
Mate, we've got a lot of good names on the outside, but I guess the player that Canterbury are really focusing on would be a chap called Shannon Hogan. He's been outstanding. We've got a left winger called Beretta Whairamo, who's pretty top notch, and obviously Anton Wedita is our captain, so we expect a lot from him.
Good luck.
Thanks, Dale.
Trevor Clark, he's certainly very experienced. He's been around the rugby league scene for a long time. Here are the Canterbury Bulls, and of course Johnny Limmer. What an exceptional player he's been for them in jersey number 13. He's been in the Bartercard Cup for many seasons, and with stints in Workington, New Zealand 8 and the New Zealand residence team. He's the man to lead the Canterbury Bulls today as they seek a final spot against Auckland, who knocked over Waikato convincingly yesterday. Let's have a look at their lineup today. Ardanga at the back. Salavao, Lofhagen, October and Carroll. Ruben and Maunga, again, the responsibilities of the 6 and 7, huge in a semi-final like this. Vince Whare is back and playing fantastic football, we're told. Sherlock and Puke. Chrissy Bamford's back from a stint over in Aussie. Baxendale is also a talented cricketer, they tell me, as well. He's played for Canterbury. Keep an eye out for him, comes in with big raps. And, of course, their bench, Matangi, Todd, Malate and Fiso.
Well, we've already touched on tradition, and Canterbury certainly not missing in that. It continues in the names of Baxendale, the son of former Kiwi Ray, and also the familiar name to many there, the number 15 Todd. That's the nephew of former great Brent Todd as well. Coached by none other than Brent Stewart.
And of course, Brent. Well, Brent, the team's been travelling really well, but it's finals football, and for a tough game today?
Oh, definitely. The last time Wellington were down here, they've improved out of sight. They've had 2 good wins and a narrow loss to Auckland, so we expect them to be a completely different kettle of fish today.
How important for the Canterbury Rugby League to do well in the provincial comp?
Oh, it's huge, a win here today. We'll see a final here again. We haven't seen one of them since '93, so hopefully we'll get the good crowd out, and it's not only good for the Bulls and the senior team, but all our young Canterbury teams coming through.
Vince Whare is back, nearly 30 now, and playing good ball as a prop. Who else should we keep an eye out for today?
Oh, Vince and his partners, we've got 3 other good props there. Jay, young Alex Todd and Leo. So our front row's all been going good. Chris Bamford, he's been very strong out on the fringes in the second row, and Johnny Limmer at the fullback, he's been outstanding. And we've got one other guy there, Nathan Sherlock. He's probably been our pick of our lot all season.
Okay, well, good luck out there, Brent.
Thank you very much.
So here we are at the home of the Canterbury Bulls. This has been a graveyard for many touring provincial teams as the Wellingtonians make their way out. Pete, it's worth reminding ourselves too that the last time when they were well beaten by the Canterbury team, that they arrived on the day of the match, and some hiccups as far as their travel plans are concerned. They arrived here last night for today's game. They know the importance of the game, and they're very confident that they can make their way through to the final, which, if they win Wellington, will be held in Auckland next week. Of course, Canterbury searching for a home final.
Well, they arrive here knowing that certainly they don't enjoy the favourite tag. That belongs to the Canterbury side, and justifiably so as well. But plenty in front of this Wellington side. They've travelled, as they've gone along their path, they've got better and better. Their first two losses, big losses, they were two first away results. Canterbury, on the other hand, this is a side that just continues to travel and travel well, unbeaten in this competition so far. Plenty of size amongst them. Vince Vare, 100 games for Canterbury, a wonderful achievement by a province that has been very, very prominent in the game of rugby league, particularly in the 90s under Frank Endicott. Plenty of history.
Vince Vare back and leading from the front, we're told. The long-time player for the Bulls, 100 matches, and of course turning out club footy for the Riccarton Knights. Referee today is one of the best in the business in New Zealand. It's Leon Williamson. And conditions at the moment. And Aaron Whittaker, former Warrior, proud Canterbury player, and doing a great deal of service for the code here in the south.
Well,
so we're about to get underway. This is the Barclaycard Provincial semi-final. You've got the action on Sky. The kick-off is deep. And taken at the back by Maunga. Be a settling in period, no doubt. Offload, this is Fadi.
Just keep an eye on the number 12, Sartorius, nicknamed the Beaver, and understandably so. When you go through 80 minutes, you'll see a work rate which is very similar to his namesake, the former Steve Menzies of Manly. Plenty of effort, particularly in the defensive game.
When you get a look at him, nicknamed Beaver because he likes the way he plays, but also looks a little like the wonderful footballer that is Steve Menzies. On the 30 metres now, Wellington with the first touch of the ball. Little settler there.
Don't work him. Go.
Tackle's made by Tony Lofhagen. That's him in strip number 14.
Third, clear.
5 short of a halfway. 20 in from the broadcast side here of Rugby League Park. He's been home to a number of test matches over the years as well. I remember a memorable game between New Zealand and Great Britain here. So Wellington in possession. Through Wedita, far side of the field, finds Harwood Henry. He's to ground now, 10 metres inside the Canterbury Bulls half. Wedita launches it high as the Canterbury Bulls come after it, and some solid commitment. Jamalo Carroll goes high to pick the ball up, but comes under some pressure as well from Pat Hunt, who is there. And Hunt in strip number 16, starting for the Wellingtonians, 25 out for the line.
The good part about that particular passage of play was Hunt in the anticipation of the kick. Just enough height on the back there of Wedita. Rated by many as being perhaps the most skillful player in the capital city. Expect him to be heavily involved. And this is certainly going to assist the Canterbury side to get out of there. 30-metre zone, the opening stages of the game. Going perhaps through a pattern that you would expect with these two sides. Just looking to settle in the game. Everyone looking for a touch. More importantly, warming up. It's a cold, cold afternoon here down in Christchurch this afternoon.
Discipline's going to be vital as well. We'll keep you posted on the penalty counts. Jay Puke takes it forward. You may remember Jay. He turned out for Waitaki there some years ago. In the Barclaycard Cup was a solid collision.
Interesting call there for Leon Williamson.
Don't
Vincent,
react to it, boys. Good work.
for Wellington coming in, a judge to perhaps gone a little too high. He certainly came off second best. Fuddy there, so showing him, just giving a little reminder. Get some accuracy in the hit, otherwise you're going to end on the backside.
So now Canterbury Sherlock delivers up, finds Puke. As I say, Jay, formerly with the Waitakere Rangers, we're going way back to the Lion Red Cup. Had a run with the Warriors squad too in '97 to Jay Puke. Ball's been jarred loose, but it bounces kindly and into the hands there of James Baxendale, who'll play the ball just 5 metres to the left-hand side of the post now. Great opening opportunity now for Canterbury. Puke leaves it behind. Wellington pick it up through Hunt. Hunt finds Baxendale, managed just to shrug him off and eventually claimed about 12 out from his own line.
Plenty at stake for these two sides. The opportunity to pick up the Rugby League Cup. One that sets itself up as a knockout and certainly on offer this afternoon. Put Canterbury the current holders of that cup. And Wellington knowing if they get it, well, they take it home and lock it up for some time. So a bit of nerves in the opening minutes of this game. Both sides needing to find the groove and just settle down, looking for some quick yards out of the acting half. Wellington, as you already mentioned, Dale, it's about simple stuff. It's about discipline. Play the right end.
Trevor Clark, their coach, was adamant that the game would be one up front, and he's fairly confident there's another ball is put down at an inopportune time, but it's still towed through, and Simon Maunga's on the chase. It's taken eventually by Bureta Fairamo. Gets away from one. Good run from the wing under some trouble. Comes under the attention there of Lima, centre field, and 15 out from the Wellington line.
And talking to Fairamo, the only lone Wainui representative here this afternoon, and certainly not to the delight of former Wainui great Kenny Laban, colleague of ours here on Sky TV, calling rugby games at the moment, the NPC, of the New Zealand Cup. Certainly not pleased with the lack of representation of Wainui Mata players.
Porirua, the form team in the club competition. And of course, here in Canterbury, Hornby beat Linwood in the Canterbury Club final. And just back on that Rugby League Cup too, Pete, some of you at home may not realise that it has a very rich history. It goes back beyond the Ranfurly Shield.
Well, it was the reason the Ranfurly Shield got its origins, and there's a wonderful 40-20, a good opportunity for Wellington, certainly well recognised. We talk about this as being one of the big innovations in the game of rugby league. Such a huge advantage if you're able to pull it off, and there he is, plenty in. A good couple of metres inside, and enough bounce on it to find it. The fullback there in Aranga just allowing it to go into touch. Yes, be very, very pleased with that.
So now Wellington hot on attack and close to the line with a scrum feed. Out into the hands of Henry. Henry pulled down on the desperate tackle of October now. 15 from the line. Ball's played back for Wellington. Decides to work the short side. Slips it across and finds Mulu. Lazarus Mulu to play the ball. Back for the fullback, Dean. Flat ball across to Wellington once again. He picks up Pat Hunt. Hunt is put away. Only 8 away from the try line. Here come the Wellingtonians. A little staggered run there, but he's able to get the ball back into the hands of Hammy Kemp, but he's ridden to ground with Lima and Fare. Put him to ground. Still 8 metres from the line.
Knock around it.
Ball played back for Dean. Wellington turns it on the inside as well. No way through there. Good defence from the Canterbury Bulls. Wellingtonians from the cap with the grubber kick through off the boot of Tamaiva.
Hold! Hold down one! Move!
So they do get another set, Pete.
Go.
Play the ball. On it comes on to Dallas Vincent. Only 2 metres away. Vincent from the dummy half position. A darting dive is Kemp. But no go.
Leave it to me. Call 3 and you reshuffle the line. Grounded it. Double movement.
You heard Leon Williamson saying double movement there. A relieving penalty for the Canterbury Bulls, who are under the pump.
And just after 7 minutes into this game, the styles of these particular squads involved. Has a little dart, looking to get through, does Kemp, not quite sure. Leon Williamson saw otherwise. But certainly Canterbury, a football side that'll stay in the match. They don't go away, mentally very, very tough. Wellington, on the other hand, they're a side that enjoy the physicality of the game of rugby league, like to get close, get physical. And certainly Fuddy, well, he won't disappoint, he'll get involved as well.
Little offload from Puke, creating some space, finds Josh Rubin. He maybe just tried to offload and he should have taken the ball to ground, but it comes back to the hands of Hunt. Pat Hunt to play the ball. 42 in centre field, Wellington in possession. Here comes Craig Dean. Crabs across field. Buddick comes and sorts him. Still on the 40 metres. 20 in from the far touch. Still 0-all and another penalty for Wellington.
Go in there, post tackle again with your hands.
Referee Williamson wants the tackle made. The quick roll away. It wasn't forthcoming. Another opportunity here.
Well, if you enjoy D, certainly the way to get involved a little bit more.
Holding.
Give away possession inside your half and then back it up with a penalty as well. Gives Wellington a perfect opportunity. Tackle one, sitting on 20 metres.
Dallas Vincent. It's wind-up time for Sutorius, who's notorious as he goes to ground now. 8 from the line. Here come Wellington. Running decoys to Wedita. Now it's with Hunt. Hunt finds the hole, cuts the gap and gets the offload, but it goes straight past the winger. And Fine Humble had no chance at all. Ambitious play from Hunt. It didn't come off this time.
Plenty of mistakes, but plenty to cheer about and plenty of excitement, and certainly keeps the Canterbury crowd involved in this game. They look at a side that's perhaps, here they go, they shifted wide. It was certainly on Hunt. He had an opportunity. The Canterbury defence there in the number 6. Monga looking to his outside. Unfortunately, that last pass didn't quite find Faidamu. If it had found the recipient, you would have got the first 4-pointer. Canterbury now looking to get out of their red zone in the form of number 14. Doing it tough.
Lofhagen up to play the ball now. 22 from the line, but decide to go short side with a little offload to Baxendale.
Oh, come on. Quicker, 6. Got to be
Play
quicker
the
than
ball
that,
to
6.
Funnit. Making his presence known, taken Bar's opposite number, Dallas Vincent. 10 short of the halfway. Puke. Joe Puke. Connections into the Cook Islands. Kia ora to his whānau. Little offload.
Outside 40.
And the downtowner. There should be no problem at the back there. Ready for Whainamo. So go from Craig Dean. So 32 from the line. And another penalty. And Leon Williamson will call out the big prop forward
Be quiet.
to tell him of his expectations. Asking the skipper to come out as well, Johnny Limmer.
Okay, mate, you've got 3 penalties against you now. 2 has involved him. Maybe in the 3rd one, where he's coming, post tackle, pushing the player back to. Just come here, listen to the director I'm giving you. He's pushing the player down 2nd attempt, all right, and slowing it down. He's got to clean it up, mate, all right, or else I'll have to deal with it. Talk to him.
Yeah, it's pretty tough for the big fella. Fuddy's been heavily involved right from the outset, but that's also been guilty on a number of occasions of being able to concede 3 penalties. Completion rate now starting to slip into the danger zone, 57%. Wellington, on the other hand, 83%, and more importantly, ball in hand.
This is Hunt. Pat Hunt, 23-year-old. So been heavily involved so far in the game, formerly with the county's Colts rugby.
Building this one well, Wellington. Nice lead up, good shape.
Wellington well positioned now as Vincent goes to dummy half, works it across for Wedita. Wedita can't find the hole that he was seeking. And into dummy half goes Dean, Craig Dean. Vincent. Again, it's Lofhagen in there to make the tackle. Wedita. Grab a kick to the end goal. Taken at the back by October.
Unfortunate for Wellington on that play. They lost their way on the way through. Their lead up on the back of that penalty was good. They got themselves just on the 15-metre zone. Plenty of depth, plenty of shape on the right-hand side. But they got to the halfway mark. Wedita opting to come back. The end, it was left to find a kick as their last play. And well collected by October.
Will the pressure mount on the hosts here this afternoon as Dallas Vincent gets hold of the ball, goes crash. Picked off eventually by Baxendale to play at 20 out from the line. Hit up time for Pat Butolino, the older brother of young Ben, of course, with the Warriors at the moment. Through the hands of Tamaiva. He works it well onto Dean. Dean finds a hole and Dean will take it in. Great first up try for the Wellingtonians. might draw first blood. It's 4-0.
And that should provide the insight as to perhaps where they'll look to go a little bit more often to find success. On that occasion, Dean being able to find a wonderful line. Plenty of gaps to pick and choose as to which one he was going to find his way through. Man of the match in their recent grand final down in the capital city between Wainui and Porirua. Certainly a talent regarded by many as a skillful attacking footballer. They shifted wide, plenty of width, and just a little lazy on the inside there. Lofhagen just giving him just a little bit more space than perhaps he required. Managed to get on the outside shoulder and then use the pace to find his way to the try line.
Well, his favourite player, no doubt about that, is Billy Slater. You can understand why. Slices nicely through there, the truck driver. 27-year-old Deans, the number one, who will also try to convert his own try.
And how good was Billy Slater's try last night? How good was that try?
Well, how good is he just to watch, and what a wonderful role model he's been for fullbacks across the globe.
And if Jared Hayne gets off, which many are expecting him to get off, it sets up a wonderful challenge between the two of the best number ones in the game of rugby league, Hayne versus Slater. Look forward to it.
Pick up on that, but apparently the referees asked the boys to keep it cool as far as the lingo is concerned. You know what, rugby league players can let things slip at times, but it's live on television that he's mic'd up. Anyway, here's the kick. This is what's confronts Deans. Every point valuable. Steadies himself now. Let's follow it in with him. So Deans to convert his own try, and will it come around? Just stays in for the 2. It is 6-0.
Yes, and certainly not bringing a smile to two of the Speckies here this afternoon. Canterbury conceding far too many penalties, allowing Wellington the opportunity to find good field position. And on this occasion, going perhaps where they are going to go a little bit more this afternoon, and that's about using their speed and using the outside. Dean in particular coming in from the fullback position. Some positive, encouraging signs.
Well, Big's dad, Rua, pretty pleased to have seen the young fella with that effort. So who will join Auckland in the final? 6-0 at the moment, after 14 and a half minutes here of action from Rugby League Park in Christchurch. It's Wellington leaving the ball behind. Back it comes for Wellington. Wellington pulled to ground on the 20-metre line. A little flat on attack at the moment, Peter Rowe.
Wellington decide that the opening 15, or particularly in the opening 7-8 minutes, looked nervous, looked a little uncomfortable, took a while to sort of settle into the game, but plenty of possession and certainly given the opportunity to find reprieve on plenty of mistakes. Canterbury looking for their defensive game to help get them back in.
Chip and regather as the bounce climb. Referee Williamson says it's gone slightly forward, but at least they've been a little bit inventive and trying to just upset the rhythm that this Canterbury team have been able to develop in their unbeaten run to the semis.
Well, we spoke to Trevor Clark prior to the game, and certainly not lacking in confidence. Recognised that they needed to do the little things. Luck's been on their side so far, with Canterbury conceding plenty of penalties, giving them an opportunity to have 2 bites. Canterbury just need to settle into their game, get rid of the penalty counts, and get a little bit more competitive with the ball in hand.
Johnny Aranga up to play the ball. He's been around for a while from the Linwood Kears. Here's a hole that opens up for Nathan Sherlock. Sherlock scragged to ground.
Plenty of reps on this kid. Knows when to go.
Fed across now. Here they come as Puke shapes up and straightens up. But solid defence through the middle. It is Dallas Vincent. The ball is jarred loose, and no one can quite determine how come. The referee is forced to say the knock on, and that gives Wellington the scrum feed 25 from their own line.
And Brad Stewart, the coach, he's sitting just to our left in the grandstand here this afternoon. Certainly wouldn't be enjoying what's being provided here at the moment. There is a hint of a strip going into the tackle there with the number 10, Puke. Not quite sure if they saw it there. But in tackle 2, that's the most disappointing part. The opportunity, good field position early in the tackle count.
Short side run. This is a darting run from Harwood to Henry. To play it. A couple of metres in from the far touch. When comes across, Bernard Gregorius, 61% of the pill so far with the boys from the capital.
And I like it when Wellington shift it. When they find some shift plays in them, they just look a little too quick, fleet-footed. Plenty to offer on the flanks in the number 5, Fairamu, and the other side, Gregorius.
Lazarus Mulu is forced to change the angle to come back in. He's on the 30-metre line. We'll play it for Henry Kemp. Kemp now on to Wellington. Puts it in behind, the bounce important. Arlinger couldn't get it, but who can? Tamaiva can.
You've knocked the forward, he's regathered it. To hand over here.
It's a turnover of possession, and it will go the way of the Bulls.
Back up.
Interesting tactics here being employed by Wellington.
Back up.
It's typical of what we've seen over the years in the number 7s coming out of Wellington as well. Physically strong, low to the ground, and certainly not afraid to chance his arm. Wellington's come up with a nice little array of kicks, short, high. On that occasion, just failing to regather on a nice little chip over the top.
Back here.
Junior Salaval
You're not there.
ball. Again, it's Puki Puki's been busy in the opening exchanges, but reading his plays, he's taking it straight into a nice tackle there from Gubb. Now Fuddy in their house, sees the ground now just short of the halfway line. Here comes Nathan Sherlock, decides he'll work it down the left corridor, onto the boot there of Josh Rubin. Picked up in the back by Dean. Trying to step around the chasers, but they do well to put him away before he gets out 10 from his own line.
And watching someone like Dean perform reminds me of Morven Edwards, the former number 1 for the Capital. An outstanding talent. And good to see the quality of football still being demonstrated in their number 1s.
This is Beretta. Fairamu up to play the ball.
Not afraid to come off his wing, Fairamu. Busy, gets involved right across the park, both ends. Happy to bring it off his line and also gets heavily involved at the attacking end as well. Wellington just looking to get it up, get some territory, get to their kick.
It's almost a quarter of the game gone now. Top tackler for the Bulls, their skipper, Johnny Limmer. That's him. Just took the ball.
Tamaiva has no interest in just playing safe and getting it down the other end. Last play, high stakes, chip and regather.
Johnny Arlinger, no way through the middle.
Dominant! Stand! Third, hold. Marcus!
Little offload now and finds Chris Bamford.
Move!
Bamford from the Linwood Kiers played some fabulous football in the Bartercard Cup. Played for the Queensland Cup as well this season. And turned out for these Tigers, and he came back, returning to his club footy later in the year.
And I'll tell you what, Trevor Clark could be getting concerned. Last 3-4 minutes, Canterbury have all been up this end. It's been some time since they spent time in Wellington territory.
Deans gets the ball though. Fortuitous bounce for him, 22 out from his line. Out of dummy half with the run. Here is Henry on the far side of the field. He too is put away, 32 from the line.
No, that's okay.
To the back, and Matulino. Those are big reps. Prominent family in the league circles around Wellington. There's Gubb to ground, 3 short of the halfway.
Come on, 15. Got to be quicker than that, 15.
Whittaker hits it wide for Hunt. Hunt turns it on the inside. Whittaker is there. Lofhagen's after him, and the offload is not smart, not sharp.
No, Leon Williamson's going back to the first
No advantage.
incident where he's suggesting that no advantage played. And I guess if there's a rule of thumb that goes in the game of rugby league in the modern era, and that's about when advantage is over or not, and it's often measured by at least 5-7 metres. They're going back to this play here, touched there by Lofhagen. Whether or not he played at it is another matter, but Leon Williamson suggested that he had.
Deans. It's a little offload, but called forward. Pretty tough first tackle. There's a Coach Killen, and they'll have Trevor Clark pulling his hair out.
Well, this is what we were just touching on just a moment ago. Wellington just coming up with a number of errors, consecutive errors at their end of the football park. That's allowing Canterbury to remain parked at this end of the footy field. It's been some time now since Wellington's been up the other end. Canterbury, they get another chance midfield.
And this is what they need through Aranga. Still on halfway though. Scoreline remains at 6-0. Just the one try scored, and that's from the fullback for Wellington. The Wellingtonian players are down. We'll keep an eye on his welfare. Now he's back onto his feet. That's Tamaiva in back play. Centre field at 30 now. Here come the Bulls. Ball turned back on the inside, picking up Alex Todd. Todd back slammed in the tackle there of Gubb. 15 from the line. The Bulls now into the hands of Monga. Turns it on the inside, Bamford. Now it's Aranga. Johnny Aranga to play the ball. 8 from the try line now as the Bulls look to score. Little offload. Powerful run as well. This time it's Baxendale. Only a matter of inches away for Baxendale as they play the ball, and now through the hands to Ruben. Ruben with the crossfield kick, and it's too deep. And the danger subsides. Wellington will take it back out to the 20, but they certainly issued a few challenges at the line that time, Pete.
Well, they certainly don't need too many invitations, Canterbury, to get involved. And Wellington persists with turning it over early in the tackle count, coming up with penalties.
No ball.
Canterbury, well, there's only one thing that's inevitable in here. They will, in time, find a 4-pointer.
Put time on, right?
What we've seen over the years out of Canterbury sides is they do not go away.
The provincial championship. You're watching the action here on Sky. The winner through to the final. Be played either here if Canterbury wins or in Auckland if Wellington wins. That's coming your way next Sunday. 2 o'clock kickoff to coincide with the big finals coming in from across the Tasman as well. Who will play against Auckland? They were so dominant in their match yesterday against Waikato, winning by 60 points to 4 as Wedita gets hold of the ball and now trying to find it. This Hunt has been quite dynamic, stepping back into the traffic, busts through the tackles, very hard to put to ground. And it takes 3 defenders, including the best defender in the Bulls, Lima.
Like the offload there that came from Gubb as well, that set up Hunt's carry.
It's Kemp to Maiva. All wide over the top. Henry, Harwood Henry. Powerful run from him. Just 6 metres away from the try line. Wellington setting themselves now as it comes through where it's up. There's the grubber to the end goal, but there to read the play well was Aranga, but he's under pressure. Aranga lays it on behind himself. Into the field of play, they come the Bulls. We don't see it often, but they came up with it this time. Pressure, Simon Mola. O'Carroll now. Jamal from the Riccarton Knights.
You've got to give something to courage sometimes, looking to offload. But Carroll, the wingman, plenty on the wood.
Wheels on the far side. Here is the test as the Bulls try to charge down the left flank. Well read by the defence on the far side of the field, and it's Gregorius who envelops him as he tries to get around him.
But plenty to like. Wellington perhaps needing Wedita to take it a little bit more to the line. But look at the courage, the offload and the end goal. Let's get out of here. Not quite sure if he touched a bit of whitewash going across. But then you get the wingman there, and Carroll goes skirting from one side to the other. Then all of a sudden you got Canterbury on the charge coming back in the form of Sullivan. But nice little chase on the back end of it. And now you get another opportunity of Wellington midway to have another crack back at Canterbury.
Johnny Aranga who popped the pass. Brave or panic, one or t'other. In the end, it went out to Sullivan. For the Celebration Lions, too, who have a couple of players, in fact, 3 in the Bulls lineup this afternoon. The Celebration Lions. Play on, says the referee. And now it's Bamford. Or Bamford, as we used to nickname him.
And forget about the Celebration Lions as well, because nothing to celebrate on that occasion. Tackle 1. Loffhagen has it again.
Loffhagen under some immense pressure from Patrick Hunt. He's proving just as formidable in defence as he has in attack.
Back there.
Todd, now Lima.
They're warming, there's Canterbury.
Stand up, 6
They're warming, knowing it's there.
Still just 6-0. Through the middle. Solid defence. Well, this is a much better performance by Wellington. Trevor Clark, their coach, said that they're better for having been together now 3 or 4 weeks. As young Sherlock tries to get through. Linwood Kears.
Look for the tap and go.
grapple tackle, straight around the neck, pulled him down the ground. This way.
Nathan Sherlock.
What are you doing?
Australian born, actually just came to New Zealand a few years ago. Used to run with the Balmain under 21.
Okay, where you go?
The second year with the Bulls. That's him taking the tap. Now it's Todd. Todd is just 5 metres away from the try line and 10 to the right-hand side of the post. Great chance for Canterbury to draw level. Back it comes for Arlinger. Will he lay it on? He does. Sherlock now to Limmer. And Limmer attracts plenty of attention. Offside, it will come up in the hands of Wellington, and they breathe a sigh of relief. And another chance to work it away from their danger zone.
Just when you think you have the opposition on the rack and all you're doing is looking to turn the screws, the coach killers arrive to play. Wellington, all Trevor would be wanting on this occasion is get to your kick, get out of this territory, because the more that Canterbury spend time down here, the better they get used to it. And this is a nice little breakout here in the number 12, Sartorius.
With Henry as well, streaking down the sideline, turns it on the inside. What a wonderful try-saving tackle it was by the Bulls, but still, the Wellington team with ball in hand and trying to make an imprint. He's gone. Now, back on the inside comes Hunt. Cuts it back to Gull. Flicks it on to, finds up Lazarus Mulu. Down the side we come, and Wellington are in again.
And it's a wonderful, wonderful try to go from one end of the football field. Canterbury one way, Wellington come back the other. Farimo the first.
Veretta Faidam was the try scorer. Well, his dad will be absolutely thrilled by that. Mum and Dad from the Poriroa Club playing for Wainuiamata. And he has been outstanding while he looks for the work. Let's get another look at it.
And this is where it all started. Sartorius, a nice little charge. Henry finishing it off. And then it was about good support play. There he is looking to position his wingman, pointing to him, telling them to get on the inside. The setup was there. The width was in their game. They looked to go wide. But it's this particular play. He's been troubling them all afternoon. Number 16, Hunt. He stepped back off his left. But the presence to know was about bring it back. Bring it to the left-hand side. He scored the first, did Faidamo. And he comes up with their second.
Well, some great play. And as you say, Pete, plenty of width. I thought that the the tackle was quite brilliant by Johnny Arlinger on Gregorius. The quick play the ball, quick hands, and confidence through the line. Found the 4-pointers they were seeking.
And good awareness, Dale, good awareness throughout that play. We saw it on the far right-hand side in the form of Henry, looking to line up his wingman Gregorius, positioning him on the inside. And then when Hunt opted to go back in, it was about, hey, no, let's get back to the left-hand flank. And Faidamo finding the second 4-pointer. Good awareness.
Deans with a tougher proposition. Well, let's put the cat amongst the pigeons. Canterbury have been getting used to being in control. Wellington says we'll have a go as well. The kick is off the crossbar. A superb effort from wide out. Just didn't have the legs. As it turned out, drops onto the top of the crossbar and away. 10-0.
Trevor Clark. Plenty of travels, plenty of smiles. 3 years with the Warriors. Plenty of time in the north of England as well with Leeds. And plenty of time with New Zealand Māori as well. Well respected in the game of rugby league. Now start teaching at Massey University in Wellington. Came into the match with plenty of confidence. Just keeping an eye there on Brent Stewart to our left. Given that walkie-talkie plenty. And I wouldn't be too surprised, Dale, in the next few minutes that walkie-talkie goes flying past you.
He's enjoying his coaching responsibilities. Is Gregorius again. They just need to just keep their heads at the moment because they're playing some good football. They can retain the shape and control that they've had through their sets of 6. We'll comment on that in a moment.
And that's Canterbury's downfall and has been throughout.
74% now for Wellington as far as their completion rates are.
And would you expect the Todd shape to be any different than what we've got there? The number 15. Big, barrel-chested. Unfortunately on that occasion, just giving Wellington another crack.
Alex Todd, actually a product of the National Junior Champs. And of course his uncle Brent Todd, of course.
Release, Morley!
Lofhagen there, it's not a common name.
Hey, cut that out, just play the ball.
Donald Lofhagen. Well, here he is, darting through the tackle. It's Hemi Kemp, and he's close to the line. Kemp held up over the line, and referee Williamson was there. A very, very skillful play. The stop would have been another nail in the coffin of the Canterbury Bulls.
Well, 9 minutes out.
20
You'd be
minute restart,
concerned.
lost it in
It's
goal.
all starting to come too easy in the meters. This is a nice little break out of the acting half. 2 defenders, Lofhagen on the one. And Kemp just being able to find his line and get so close. But nice work in Carroll being able to get over and cover. And just be able to nullify that attempt. But at the moment, Wellington, the meters are starting to come a little too easy, too often.
17 to play the ball is Tu'umalate through the middle. Sherlock probing.
Time to go back to what you do best. Time to regroup. Just get some shape. Get to a kick. Get to some corners. Just play at the other end. At the moment, they're doing it tough.
7.5 minutes to play. Who would have thought that the Canterbury Bulls, so dominant in the round-robin play, be staring down the barrel of a 10-point deficit approaching half-time.
32 zip last time. Big difference between these two sides. That doesn't help.
Certainly helped the cause. Good to see the Cantabrians out supporting their boys too.
You're always guaranteed of a couple of things. You can take them as gimmies down here. The footy's tough and tougher. And then you got the crowd to deal with. They get involved. An ugly bounce. Just looking to regather on the first bounce up, but he didn't quite expect it to get some spin back on it.
Got to remember that Bernard Gregorius had some on shot, juggled that ball. He's only 18. Looks in the upper hut, Cosy Club with a bartender actually. Says he's gauged his inspiration. Here we go with Todd. Lays it on at the back there, and referee Williamson says that he's made a blue. Big Stewart there on the right-hand side of your picture.
You let his leg go and don't hold on the tackle.
Yeah, he was
Very
just about to throw
borderline.
that walk in, but
so.
then he noticed the camera was on him and he pulled back. Good call, Brent.
Seconds in, hold up.
This was a nice carry. Nice charge by Todd, taking it up.
Where you going?
Looked for the offload. It was there. And then, unfortunately, the number 9, Sherlock Leon Williamson,
Quickly!
adjudicating that there was a knock-on. Wellington again.
Hemi Kemp, the number 9, topping the tackle count for the Wellingtonians. They haven't had to do as much, obviously, as the Canterbury Bulls. 17 to Kemp, 22 at the moment for Lima, 15 tackles to Sherlock, 13 for Fale.
But look at the overall team, 128 to 80. Yeah, now on getting up to, an ugly knock on.
A mistake, Matt Timmy.
No advantage, tackle's complete behind it. Have the
Plenty of
scrum here.
tackles for the Bulls. Plenty of energy, plenty of effort. We know they're fit. Well, they better be more than fit to see a back end once the ball comes their way. And I'm pretty sure halftime can't come soon enough. Brent Stewart will be
Hold up.
looking to do a little bit more than just sending messages down the walkie-talkie. I'd like to eyeball a few.
Bez Ardanga comes into the line, but it's well read there by Harwood and Henry, and Ardanga loses the ball, knocked on both ways, but it will be a Wellington feed on halfway. So really nothing has fallen well for the Canterbury Bulls. Yes, we've got 40 minutes to play, but the confidence level is starting to grow in this Wellington outfit.
I'm just keeping an eye there on the trainer that's just come on from Wellington. The big football side. This is Wellington's side, and that continues in their off-field support crew as well.
Got plenty to offer.
Sit down there for a start.
So, as we count down towards the half-time break, 4.5 minutes to play. Wellington have surprised, 2 tries to 0, a 10-0 lead. As Deans comes under some pressure and is eventually closed down with assistance by Bamford and also Maunga out of dummy half. Try scorer now. This is Whaidamo.
Maunga did good on that occasion, moved up quickly on Dean. Killed it straight away.
Kent out of dummy half. It's Lima again upstairs. Downstairs getting some assistance from Tu'umalate. Wellington, can they cross again? Here it comes, a big Dim man. He's a Randwick Kingfisher. Formerly with the Hut Old Boys Rugby, representing Randwick. That ball's gone loose. Now with the Bulls. A little bit of hot step in there from Joshy Rubin. Comes under the attention of Hemi Kemp. Puts him away on the 30.
Well, it's been an afternoon full of memories. You mentioned Randwick. How can you go past that wonderful Tusk Cup match? Wrangler Cup, it was called back in the day. Randwick, Otahu, Frank Tinney Tyler, one end of the 40 field to the other. Wonderful, wonderful afternoon. A moment in history of the game of rugby league, the national club competition.
A moment in time, I'm sure.
And the Crusaders, and we keep referring to the Crusaders because that's what Brent Stewart's looking for at the moment, is something to get out there and help them.
Just watch the
When you
language,
look at it at the moment, perhaps their best ally is the scoreboard. There's only 10 points separating them. With everything that's gone wrong, everything that's gone against them, the penalties, the errors that they've conceded, they're still in it.
I've called him, told him to stand up. He won't stand up. It's about the 4th time I've spoken to him on the run.
4th time. I've only been on 10 minutes, mate. 4th time.
Okay, so I've spoken to you 4 times. Hey, don't walk away. Come here. So you've been on 10 minutes and I've spoken to you 4 times. So it's quite a clear message that I need you to clear the ruck nice and quickly. Sort him out, mate.
I give you 10 to 1. He's a law student.
10? Oh, it might have been 9.
I think he's doing good, Timmy.
Well, as you can see, that's the playing style of yesteryear. But Leon Williamson's quite right. Make the tackle, get out of the way. Here comes Todd. Good strong run. As Pete's mentioned, 10 points is certainly doable in the second 40. I've been a little bit stunned by the intensity of the attack at the moment. The Canterbury Bulls will play the ball. Can they get across in the last few minutes? Number 20 is, I guess, Fisor. Short side. A little bit of hot stepping going on there for O'Carroll, but he's wrapped up by his opposite number. Fidamo. Ruben. Todd. Todd can't come through, and to make the tackle has been Matt Timet. Dummy half Sherlock has a little look, pops the ball. There's the run for the line, and that'll do. Against Fisor. The replacement is in to score. First year of playing for the Canterbury Bulls, and the Linwood Kia replacement gets them a try. 10 to the right-hand side of the post in timely fashion.
And the key to coaching sometimes is feeling the game, knowing when it's time to introduce players, know when it's time to introduce players that with ball in hand they can create something. And there's no denying with Fiso there, he gets heavily involved right from the outset. That's his second touch, maybe third at max, and he came up with the right result. That's why he was introduced into the game. And when you talk about timing, 2 minutes out from half-time, they've been doing it tough. And 10-4 kick to come, could very well see them going into half-time break with a deficit of no more than 4. 4 when you consider how much football's being played by Wellington. This side here in the red and black, the Canterbury side without the football. It might give them some sense of reprieve when they get in there to meet Brent Stewart, because he's not happy. Not happy. This might just ease the pain a little bit.
Simon Maunga, as Pete mentions, if he gets this, and he duly does, a 4-point deficit, considering that the weight of possession has been well against him, completion rates as well. There's your try scorer, against Fisor, who's one of 5 Linwood Kias in this Canterbury lineup this afternoon.
And the timing. You know, you just can't reinforce and talk about it enough. The timing of a coach, knowing when to make change, when to bring it in. Nice work again from Sherlock. We talked about him at the beginning. Regarded highly by many. Knows when to catch and pass. Very selective in his game. And on that occasion did enough coming out. Drew the man and offloaded Fisor in support.
Well, he's certainly the go-to man for the Bulls is Sherlock. He's the Mr. Everywhere man, and to be down by just 4 points, set the split. Brent Stewart will be well pleased that they were able to score at that time, because they were certainly under some pressure. So as we count down towards the half-time hooter, which is just a half a minute away. An exciting game. If you've just joined us, this is the Bartercard Provincial Championship semi-final, and the winner here today will play Auckland in the final. What we are determining is where that final will be played. A Canterbury win sees them host Auckland here next week, 2 o'clock at Rugby League Park. If it's a Wellington victory, the final will be played up in the city of Sales. And there is the hooter that brings the curtain down on the first 40 minutes, and a very enjoyable 40 minutes if you're a Wellington supporter. A little sticky for Canterbury, but at the break, it's 10-6 in favour of Wellington over Canterbury in the Bartercard Provincial semi-final. That's the Rugby League Cup. These two teams doing battle for that, as well as a spot in the final of the Bartercard Provincial Championship. The Rugby League Cup played for at home games. So Wellington want to take that trophy and put it back into their cabinet, back up there in the capital, and they'll hold it over the summer, Pete.
Well, that's it. They just want to lock it up and put it away. And for most of that first half, they were looking as though they were travelling along quite nicely. Canterbury coming up with plenty of errors, allowing them an opportunity to control the game. At the back end of it, in the last couple of minutes, Canterbury doing exactly what would have perhaps pleased their coach a little bit more had they not scored, and Brent Stewart coming up their try through their substitute in Fiso. But this was an entertaining first 40 of football, both sides just going from end to end, certainly with no regard for looking for the simple stuff. And there was a great little 40-20 there by the 5'8" timeout. Wedder, his kicking game, yeah, he's had plenty. Not quite sure if we put this one down to courage or bravery, but Wellington certainly started to find a groove by finding some shape and getting some width in it. Dean, a nice little carry there to find the first 4-pointer. He's been prominent.
Yeah, but that came after a wonderful break down the right flank, didn't it? They just had the composure. They seemed that they had the numbers, worked it wide. This was Ardanga. Well, was that brave? Or was there some panic involved? Only he will know the answer to that. And there's Lofhagen working it wide. This is a chance down the left-hand flank, but the chase is good. And at that stage, it looked like the Cantabrians were into real problems.
And
cutting the mustard, Steve Sartorius. That's a brilliant ball out to Henry.
But even more special is the fact that you're talking about Sartorius to Gregorius to Buddy Henry. Plenty of movement, plenty of perhaps awareness of what's going on and being able to react. You go back to the right-hand side, now bring it back to the left. And Hunt, well, he's been prominent as well. And then Farama comes up with his second try of the afternoon. Nice little work coming out of the acting half again as well, and kept the lead-up work outstanding. Just denied, just inches away from the try line. And this has perhaps been the tale of the first 40, from one end to the other. And this is when they get involved. A nice little play there by Sherlock coming out of the acting half. The ability to draw and pass and finding the sub, and Fiso being able to come on. We talked about it just before the halftime break, and that's about the timing of the introduction of the player. And more importantly, the player who can make a difference and do something. The stats at halftime, while they perhaps don't show the true story of what we saw in 40 minutes of footy, they started to even themselves up towards the back end. Completion rate by both these sides, highlighting the fact that both have been guilty of turning it over early in the tackle count, going from one end of the football field to the other. A very low completion rate that's kept them both in the game. Line breaks. You go to the tackles, you look and start talking about the energy that's being used up in the defensive game, while certainly Canterbury, the opening quarter particularly, Dale, plenty of energy.
Absolutely. Well, the 40 extra tackles that they've had to make has made it tough for them. That's Donna Wilkins, I think, and her little one there. Of course, formerly Donna Lofhagen is New Zealand netball and basketball representative, so wonderfully talented sportswoman, and she's here supporting her brother as well, Tony, who's running with the Canterbury Bulls, and he'll be wanting to run a bit faster and score a few more tries here in the second half. But coming up towards half-time, really, it felt like Wellington had control. Look at the day down here. It might be a little bit nippy, and Pete's moaning with his thermals on and everything else, but glorious, glorious weather. And what is to happen? Well, it might be a cold day in the Garden City, but it's certainly heating up here in the semi-final. Half-time, it is 10-6. Wellington lead, can they maintain that lead and go into the final? Canterbury have got something to say about that. Stay with us here on Sky. We'll bring you all the action of the second half right after this. Welcome back to Rugby League Park in Christchurch for the Provincial Championship, brought to you by Bartercard and Sky. And of course the Cantabrians here to support their squad, who went through the round robin unbeaten, but have been tested here this afternoon. Peter Ropati, news true as well from across the ditch regarding two players who were threatened of missing out of the grand final. Seems they're okay to go.
Yeah, Matt Keating obviously under a charge of the chicken wing tackle, which was a big play, and obviously the one that everyone's talking about, Jared Hayne, judged perhaps be the #1 player in the game of rugby league now. The grand final without someone of his stature involved would certainly be an absolute tragedy, but by all accounts, even if charged with grade 1, no carryover points should see him declared to be part of the grand final next week for Parramatta. Wonderful effort for that football side. They come from nowhere mid-season to be well and truly dismissed by plenty. Well, they certainly showed that while you've got the chance to play, anything's possible, and that's exactly the case here this afternoon. Canterbury down at the moment, 6-10 to Wellington. Just spoke briefly to the Canterbury coach from Brent Stewart, and he just said, "Row in a nice way," and nice words, he said. Just settle down, Canterbury, get into the game. You're beating yourselves. Plenty of mistakes, plenty of penalties. Wellington certainly don't need the help.
Johnny Limmer would have had some words as well. He's the most experienced player. A cool head wins games in sticky circumstances. And to come back and score just a couple of minutes out from the halftime break certainly kept them in touch. And again, a reminder, it's the stand that never has any people in it on the far side of the field. Needs some structural work done on it.
Let's go, boys.
But the crowd over here on the broadcast side enjoying the footy very much. Hope you are as well at home here on Sky. The ball is kicked deep and it's taken in by Dean. He did some fine work in the first 40.
And just on that stand on the opposite side, perhaps the showgrounds here or Rugby League Park, under the same sort of concern I guess Carlo Park was at risk of continuing with games of rugby league. The local rugby league fraternity in a bit of a battle there with the local council to try and maintain holding rugby league games at this venue. The battle continues, and it continues on the field as well.
Apparently some Christchurch businessmen have come in to back it in too, so hopefully over the next little while we'll see some positive developments here at Rugby League Park. So there is the kick off the boot of Anton Werata, whose experience and skill continues to be the focal point for the attack from Wellington, and Trevor Clark no doubt would be pretty satisfied with his boys' performance. He did say prior to the game that they're a much improved outfit on the team that went down so convincingly when they lined up against the Bulls some weeks ago.
We got the impression very early on with that kick also from Werata, which was about playing at the other end of football. Nice breakout!
Run made by Junior Salival, and a penalty accompanying that run as well.
That's a bonus on top.
Gregorius all over him, says referee Williamson.
That was rubbish, boys. Cut that out.
Leon Williamson, you know, in uncertain terms what he thought of the play. So now Canterbury in prime attacking position. Here is Sherlock. He'll take the tap, feeds it across the field and picks up Leo Tu'umalate. He comes to grief under the tackle of Shannon Hogan, who puts him away. 15 from the line. Back on the inside they come. This is Almatangi with the ball. Big and strong, but he can't get across as they come up in numbers to make the tackle. Wellington, they're having their defensive qualities examined here as the ball comes at the back for Johnny Arlanga. Elusive, steps away from 1 and 2, and then to ground. 5 out from the line. Left, right options open to Sherlock as he comes for Todd, and Todd comes surging towards the line, but he hits a wall of Wellington defenders. Little feed, Sherlock. Bonga. And the referee calling here. Another penalty going the Bulls' way.
Keep it down.
This has something similar to what we saw in the first half. On that occasion, it was all Wellington being the recipient or the benefactor. Quite the opposite at the beginning of the second. Canterbury enjoying plenty.
Sherlock finds Bamford. Angles the run to ground level. To the right-hand side of the post. Sherlock with options. This time he finds Todd. Alex Todd with the ball. Dallas Vincent is his nemesis on the run. Out of dummy half goes Bamford for the line. No. Denied.
An innovation on the mousetrap, a double take. Bam.
Don't dive in.
Sherlock feeds it across. This is Bonga looking for the hole on the far side. Limmer straightens. They swarm around him, and then the black and yellow sort of 10 out from the line. Decoy runner. Then fed on to Almatangi. Almatangi tries to muscle his way through the middle, but the defenders are strong, including Matulino. Here is Sherlock. Flat ball, grab a kick to the end goal. Who will have it? Wellington so far. And the defenders there for the Bulls. Put away the fullback, Dean. And he gets out into the field of play. Wellington with a settling 6 now.
Well done, Wellington. Canterbury, on the other hand, always looked one pass short of being able to create some havoc. The Wellington defensive line working well on the edge. They're moving up quick, good line speed, shutting it down. This was at the back end here with Aranga. And Dean getting involved. But Wellington on the edge, reading it well, cutting it off. Canterbury needing just one more support player, one more option on the outside, and that finds success. As he did in the first half, Hunt continues with the good form.
Dean works it across and finds Sartorius. Stephen Sartorius. He's to play the ball. Into the hands of Wellington. He decides to launch. A little bit isolated at the back, the wing three-quarter, but really well taken too for Canterbury. On the far side of the field, this is Junior Salival. Excuse me, O'Carroll, I should say, on the far side.
And this is where Wellington can respond. Find some line speed, push up, jam, try and keep them in the corners. Canterbury have done well to be able to find midfield. Nice hit. Number 9. He's been good, Kemp.
He's been very, very busy as Kemp.
I tell you, he's been busy when you look at Todd. No second guessing what you're going to get out of him. He just gets the ball and he just gives a meter. Just puts you on the front foot.
25 tackles there for Kemp, and that was a good tackle as well from Dallas Vincent. He sorted out To'o Malata. Down the short side, we haven't seen too much from Josh Rubin. This time he's after the bounce, but the bounce goes instead into the hands of Gregorius. Superb tackle as well by Lasse Fiso. 35 on the line. Dean works it and finds Furamor. Faidamo to play the ball, 5 short of the halfway. Still 10-6, 2 tries to 1.
That's what's been enjoyable this afternoon. At times, perhaps not the most accurate and not the most disciplined. When plays should be a little bit more about safety, looking for get a little bit of distance to get down the other end. Enjoy the fact that they're providing entertainment. The nice little chip and regather. Wedderter looks to go wide. Finds Dean.
Nice little offload on the far side too, Pete. This is Lazarus Mulu. Interesting lineup, this Wellington team, with Gregorius, Sartorius and Lazarus all in the one squad.
Well, that wasn't Lazarus. That was a mistake. Wedderter, he knows it. Perfect position to go on, find the corners. Not happy.
Anton Wedderter, 25-year-old. There's connections out there too, to Ngāti Toa and Taranaki. Talking to his dad, Max, and Rose, his mum, be watching on with great pride this afternoon. Great run as well. Here is Sherlock. Well, I thought for a moment he was looking for some clues, but he came up with some answers as well. Little offload now. Here come Canterbury. They need to start putting the power plays on here, Pete.
You're too good, Dale. You're too good.
Through the middle we come, and it's Josh Rubin. Not much of Josh Rubin. What he's got is plenty of ticker. We'll give him that. The Kaiapoi Bulldogs. Now, danger signs here for Wellington as Andrew Matangi. Plenty of them too. He's a big man. He'll play it only 6 meters out from the try line.
Look for Fiso.
Sherlock is there. There's a little look to his left, but instead gets it across onto Maunga. And the chase. The bomb is good and accurate, and there is pressure. But Wellington are there as well in numbers, brilliantly taken by Lazarus Mulu. Ton of pressure on, and a good chase by the Bulls. Tap on the 20.
Good play, Mulu. Stood his ground, never took his eye off the ball. Plenty coming at him. It was a catch that needed to happen, and he did exactly that. They get the opportunity to kick it out. They're coming out of their own half, just over the 30-meter. The offload.
2 now. Stand up.
Shannon Hogan has done some good work now. It's through Wedderter. Up the middle, little offload out the back door. Not necessarily too. The Bulls will capitalise. They do this time through Todd. Alex Todd on the 40-metre line now. Wellington's end of the ground. And out of dummy half goes Saraval. Almost gets away. Closed down on the 20 metres.
And these two sides, well intent. And this will help the Canterbury cause as well. Leon Williamson finding.
You've gone in there. Get out of it.
Get out of the tackles a call.
You. Come out here.
Come.
Come out here. Hey. Get him over here. Be very, very quiet.
Shut up, man.
Listen here. Mate, do you want to go and sit down? Well, I'd be very wise and be quiet. I've had enough of it, mate. One more word out of him, he goes and sits down. Quite clear, mate. Mate, this is your skipper here. If you've got a problem, you talk to him. Don't come charging out abusing us, all right? Now go back and join your team.
Yeah, he's been to law school as well. I object, Your Honour. Says Mr. Dean, let's get going again. Whare, he hits it up.
Vince Whare.
Get your knees out.
On to Sherlock now. Sherlock looks for Todd.
Hands
Getting a
clear.
little bit lippy with the referee. Leon Williamson doesn't like it. He expects respect from the players. But it's funny to say, hey mate, don't abuse me.
Nice play there. Vincent coming over top. Just slowing it down.
Sherlock to cut out ball. Here comes wind up Vince Whare. The big 30-year-old prop back after a 2-year hiatus. Now it's through the hands. Little show and go, and Ruben for the line. Oh, he's so desperately close. Quick flick out the back. Through the hands now to Monga. Monga gets it for Todd. Todd can't get any more than 10 metres away, and a turnover on the 6th tackle. Couldn't use it as well as they wanted.
Well, he wasn't the player they needed to find. He wasn't the go-to on that occasion. They missed it coming to the left-hand side when Ruben had 2-3 to his left. He opted to go to the line himself. On that occasion, on the final, disappointing end to what was perhaps a promising passage of play there for Canterbury. Finding young Todd. His reaction in receiving the ball as well was perhaps not one of delight, and that's it. Leon Williamson, he's had enough.
Well, what a blow for Wellington's hopes. Dean has been one of their best, but now
that was occasion number 1, or we'll call it offence number 1. Limmer involved, Martellino involved, Dean coming in to help. Not a good end.
well, 13 plays 12 now, and the Bulls on the ascendancy, on the rise. Let's see if they can capitalise with one defensive cog on the wheel down. This is Sherlock, and this is Vince Whare. Not surprisingly, it tracks 2 and often 3 defenders who must shore up to ensure that he doesn't bust the line. There's Ruben back on the inside for Monga. Monga away from one, tries to spin in the tackle and almost gets over the chalk. He is just a metre away. This is Sherlock. Sherlock's got a hole, and this time a penalty to Wellington. An accidental shepherd, and a great chance for the Bulls now subsides.
A great opportunity for the Bulls that's gone missing. Just all a little too excited. When you lose one in the defensive cog, as you refer to it, Dale, what it says to you straight away, you're one short. You're going to find it a little difficult to cover the field defensively. Particularly when you're hard on your line, you tend to perhaps compress a little bit more. What they needed was width, use of football. The ball will beat the man, find something on the edge. Wellington, well, they'll look to just play out. Play simple would be the message here. Just play out the clock, and we'll get Dean back on. And then it's game on again.
Team there.
But do you think either of these sides are going to listen to any?
I don't think so. It's going to get tough and rough out there soon. Wellington with the ball. This man's been good when given opportunities. Stephen Sartorius to play it on the 30-metre line. Fed up by one of the best too, and Hammy Campbell has been superb. And there's the charging run wide. Matt Timmy on the halfway line. Here they come now. Wellington making the most of the 12 that they do have. Here's Winneta. They wouldn't have expected the attacking run that he decided to put forward. Claims 12 metres to ground 42 from the line. Into the hands there of young Jamal Tamaiva. Turned 27 last night. Happy birthday to you, mate.
And how's that for a response? The number 1 Aranga takes a high ball and then responds with a nice return.
Remember, 13 plays 12 here. It's a great opportunity for the Bulls if they're able to capitalise. The hit up, taken there by the big number 10, Puke. Puke, here's a good run from Sherlock. Sherlock waits to pass to Limmer. Limmer scragged by the collar and flung to ground in the tackle of Mulu. 35 from the line, little dummy, and it's Bamford. Tries to catch him unawares, Chris Bamford! To ground, 10 from the line. Oh, great run from the second rower. They've got the numbers. If they can stretch them wide. The ball goes to Ruben. And Ruben couldn't quite pick it up. Looked for it on the half volley to ground, and a great chance goes begging.
Right on the outset with Bamford making that good charge down the right-hand side. They had time to set up to come back, but they weren't. The number 7, Ruben, on the outside. They knew it last minute. You can see, look at the numbers. Plenty on screen. Bamford goes to the right hand. Time now was to set up, get deep. It was last tackle. Go through the hands, look for the kick. You're playing one short, but they weren't ready. Wellington, they get an opportunity to come back.
Just looking to consolidate here a little at the middle. Okay, there's still only 4 points in it, but the team who keeps the coolest head and starts to respect the pill and get to their kicks will win this game here this afternoon.
Stop trying to change the game plan now. 54 minutes gone on the clock. The script is not going to change. These two want to go at each other, and they'll keep doing it. One end to the other.
Here's
They
Wellington.
won't do the rules.
The rules are out the door. Throw the form out the window. Well, we know that in final series, but certainly when you looked on paper at the road to the semi, Canterbury well and truly on the favourites, excuse me. There's the kick too from Wellington, and taking it to back by Ardanga. He looks as though he is a game breaker. If given a chance, he just has had precious few opportunities so far. Up the middle, who will bust? There's the little offload. Now some space for Junior Salival. Pressure on. And the heavy swerve is undone. He tried to change the angle too dramatically there as Andre October pushes forward.
We had young Matalino coming across on the inside and cover. Perhaps would have been better served. Salival and looking to use his speed. His initial come out, break out of the line, showed that he had plenty of toe.
It's been a great number 9 battle between Hemi Kemp and also Nathan Sherlock. Both of them very good as the ball is at the back. Gregorius is there. Could have been deemed heavy. Certainly he was falling low as Vincent Fale was then thrown out of the way. Pat Martolino now.
Back here. Hold. 8.
Faidamo. Centerfield at 25. Still just 4 points in it. Quarter of an hour gone. In fact, more like 16 of the second 40. This is Matt Timmy. Again, on to Faidumo. He can't get his way forward as Johnny Limmer is downstairs making the tackle. The skipper still continues to impress. 33 tackles beside his name today. The next hardest worker in the defensive department is Sherlock. With the ball is Sutorius.
Stand up.
The referee will say that there was a hand in there.
Well, he looked to his touching for a hand on that occasion. Mr. Sherwood on this near touch end, recognising that there had been an infringement in the play of the ball. Wellington, another set of 6. Inside Canterbury half. To achieve a result on the back end of this, down 1, be a big plus.
Heard the slap as the attacker and defender collided there. And up to play the ball is Shannon Hogan. Turns it back on the inside for Matulino once again. Gets it back for Hogan now. Plenty of them too. Runs at the little guy Hogan, but Sherlock downstairs, copybook front on tackle. Skillful. Now dummy half is Kent. This is Wareta. He turns it on the inside and finds the powerhouse running Timber. So, 10 from the line. Wellington looking to get over first in the second half, but the ball is jarred in the tackle and it goes in the way of the Bulls. Big number 15 couldn't quite look after it, Mike Nathan.
Nathan in full flight, looking to run a small hole. Nice and direct, but there's a nice little response by Canterbury. Just short.
Limit to the 40. The Bulls with a bit of roll on. There's 10 Clang quickly. Make that 15. Calling for the quick play the ball. It was very difficult to achieve. As Jay Puke straightens. Put away. Puke. 25 from the line. Now Sherlock has options. This is Ruben. Ruben turns it back on the inside for Bamford. Away from one. Chris Bamford. Oh, surging strong.
Bring it back.
To the left they come with numbers. Here is the
seen throughout near on 60 minutes in this game. End-to-end football action. It was down the back end. Wellington on attack. Nathan turned the ball over. He needed soft hands on that occasion. He needed a nice little touch-up, but it came a little too hard. While Canterbury responded, they got down the other end in a matter of 3. But it came on the back of this nice carry. Bamford, the number 11, he's been strong this afternoon. He got him on the front foot. Canterbury, they knew it was on the left-hand side. Wellington was short. The ball going to ground, and often is the case when it does go to ground, all of a sudden people sit back on their heels. Just that extra second enabled the ability to recover, pick up off the ground. And they get the try that they needed. They needed this one when they're 1 up against a Wellington side, minus Dean still sitting on the bench.
Well, that's what happens, doesn't it? When you're playing 13 against 12, there's always going to be the overlap. And there, the young man, about Rua's decision to mouth off somewhat first at Leon Williams, said he just couldn't take it anymore and given his marching orders. But the try scored while his teammates down to defending with 12. A good finish. Perfect, but what a great run it was too when you think of Johnny Limmer at the back and Bamford through the middle. And then to finish it off.
It summed up, I think, Dale, some wonderful play within that set, but also moments of not quite sure if they were going to get there, doing it tough, the ball not finding its target, going to ground, but nice recovery.
Andre October from the Papanui Tigers is half a metre in. And wide out, he strikes this one, just swings to the left. And so we are locked up 10-all. Plenty of football to go here, though, in the battle of the capital against the Garden City. 10-10 after 60.
And it's always good stuff when you get a back rower. Bamford going to the right-hand side. You bring the defensive plays in. You know when you've brought them in, committed them to the middle, then it's about recognizing where the threat has to go, and that's about wide. If you've done your job bringing them to the middle, go wide, shift. Get a shift play going on. They did it tough, but Sullivan, well, they got there eventually.
Well, this is what the Canterbury fans would have hoped for, to see their team good in control. But really, for the first time this afternoon, because they've been chasing a Wellington team who came out hell-bent on dictating terms here this afternoon. Now we are locked up.
And back to the full complement as well, Dean back on the pitch. Well, there was a sense coming into this game. It was recognised by Canterbury that this was a much improved Wellington side, but for most of the game, there's certainly been a little undone with mistakes and errors. Now it starts all over again. 20 minutes ago. Watch it fire up now.
Still anyone's game. Who will play Auckland in the final? That will be determined in the next nigh on 19 minutes. Off the boot of Nathan Sherlock. That one finds touch. Scrambly little kick, really. Only claims about 20 metres, but nevertheless.
I'm not quite sure if it's the kick he wanted. Sherlock been impressive this afternoon. 28 tackles, 8 hit-ups. Some nice style play coming out of the acting half. Quality about what he does and his work. Brings on the defensive line, knows when to offload, selective. Come up with some nice little kick options for that occasion. Perhaps just not getting enough on it that he would have liked.
Out.
Greg Dean's back on. That's him with the ball in hand.
What a difference a halftime talk makes. Canterbury, they went into the split with a completion rate sitting just under 60 thereabouts. So far of the quarter to go, they're sitting just below 90% completion. A huge turnaround from what we saw in the first 40. No wonder Brent Stewart had red eyes.
Been impressed with the wing too, Pete. Whaidamo. He's just, coming off the wing often to get himself involved through the middle.
Busy, been that way right throughout. Busy.
On the halfway, nothing in this game. Obviously at 10-all. And who will take it out? Counting it down now. 18 minutes to play. Quick play the ball now. Kent's been good. Wadita works it across. Picks up Dean. Dean written to ground under the tackle. Puke. He's 15 metres inside the Bulls' half. Come again to Wadita. He looks for the long-range field goal. Well, not the tactic anyone would have expected, but plenty on it. And look at that. Picks up the 1 point. Pete.
Well, it reminds me through finals football. You hear the odd commentator come up with the message, and the message is quite clear. If you go down there, come back with something. Well, that's what Wedita's thinking right now. I don't care what I bring. I've just got to bring something home. And he brings a 1-pointer.
Well, Max at home and his mum Rose will be pretty pleased with this one. I suppose his old man Max taught him how to do that. Long-range field goal. Superb player for the man they call Milkweed, and don't ask me why, but he says that's the name he's been called ever since he was at high school. 11-10 with 17 to play.
And I'll give you one tip. With that 1 point advantage right now, could that very well, the back end of this game, be the difference? You know, there's some points still in Wellington. There's some points still left in Canterbury.
It was just sort of out of the blue, wasn't it? Unexpected with 18 minutes to play. You don't
you like it, though? If you go down there, come back with something. There you go.
And bring the change.
Milkweed.
Don't ask me. So, now the pressure is on. Touch forward, and referee Leon Williamson gets insightful judgment from his touching. This time it wasn't Aaron Whittaker.
Talking about Aaron Whittaker, heavily involved in the game down here, was saying before the game he gets involved in reffing junior footy. Then he comes along and plays his game, and then he refs senior football. And yes, well picked up there by Mr. Sherwood on the near-end touch here. Like the little signal, just flicked it forward with his hands. Leon Williamson responded.
I was really rapt to see Aaron Whittaker and all the ex-Warriors boys at the last game of the season, and Christchurch well represented with Aaron and Petu Taylor.
Mike Doreen,
Logan, yeah, great. From behind.
Young Endicott as well, Shane, plenty. And good to see Lewis Brown now adding to that list of quality players coming out of the South and representing New Zealand. He has a chance being included in the squad, so all the best, Lewis.
Yeah,
Hope
Lewis,
it works well.
Good footballer. Here they come. Here's the angle run. He's been dangerous. Bamford. I love calling out his name because it reminds me of the Flintstones. Big Chris. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Jay Pookie, you are mine! And he's in there, 5 to the right-hand side of the post. Wonderful run.
Well, you might talk up Bamford. Well, this is mine. Pookie, that's what I like, and that's how he plays it. Straight to the line all afternoon. It's been about playing direct. It's about playing close off the ruck. Hitting it up, knowing he needs to get involved with the confrontation, the physical, gets a bit of a chip on the nose on the way through, but he's been relentless. Some good lead-up work here by Canterbury. Bamford again heavily involved, being able to shift it around. More often than not, every player's come off the back of his lead-up work. The way he sets it up, puts him on the front foot. This was about a big front row, taking on what's in front of you. No looking back, no looking sideways. Tuck it up and let's see what happens.
Jay Pookie from the celebration lines, and plenty to celebrate in the run as well, close to the line. A former youth worker up in Auckland, had a stint with the Vulcans and the Warriors squad back. Well, it was 12 years ago now when you think about it, Pete, 97. And also with the West Auckland as the Waitakere Rangers. But gee, what great service and what a timely run for him as the extras. And important extras they will be too. Here's James Baxendale. Baxendale hits it, the flags are down. Wow.
And that's a good look. Pookie. No.
Porky.
No. Wow, there's so many things that are going to matter at the back end of this game.
Let's have a look at this, Pete.
Could this be one of them? No, it's a miss. Unlike what we saw in Toyota Cup a few weeks ago.
I was staggered when I saw that. That it can happen, but I guess, you know, as a touchy, he's just not used to them being missed from that sort of range. But good call. An important miss.
And the man charged with the responsibility of bringing back the kick-off, Pookie, the try scorer.
It's dripping out of your nose.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's dripping out of your nose. It's a call from Leon Williamson. Do I get it blocked up?
I'd rather see the blood coming out of it than cutting to the fullback who snorted on screen the other time. But sometimes these blokes don't realise they're on television. Do what you normally do in private, publicly.
Canterbury certainly got a spring in their step. They know what's in front of them. Wonderful offload.
Lovely.
Carroll looking for support. Unfortunately, Salival on this occasion just a little too deep. Not anticipating, not reading it. It could have been away. Sherlock's tackle.
14-11. We're coming up towards the 12-minute mark, and Canterbury in ascendancy at the moment as the ball comes out for Fiesel. Midway between the 30 and 40 Fiesel as Sherlock works it to the right. Picks up on Matangi. Over the top, here is Bamford. He is dangerous down that side. Turns it on the inside for O'Carroll.
There's a real sense of Parramatta style coming into the game. Canterbury being content with taking it in the middle. Now plenty of width, plenty of movement.
Matangi now. Josh Rubin goes for the stab. Play that. Play on. Says the referee. Here's October. Wide to the ball. Shadow's in the corner. The numbers. Referee wants to talk. Forward pass. Took the call from the touch judge, who won't be able to buy a beer anywhere in Christchurch.
But even more important, there was a shot put over the bow. The game has changed in the way that Canterbury have taken it to Wellington. Mentioned moments before, it's been about the middle. This occasion, Rubin, he's looking to the outside, finds October and Sullivan. And the pass there from October to Sullivan as a judge adjudicated there by Mr. Sherwood is one that's gone a little forward. Doesn't matter anymore, they go on with it. Wellington got the ball in hand, but plenty of movement starting to come into this game. 68 gone, 12 to go. Play ball.
90 metres away from the try line. What can they do about that? Wellington have turned around. A resilient and resurgent Canterbury Bulls team. They dictated terms for the better part of the second half.
And that hit there, that collision then, Sherlock. He's heavily involved throughout the game, him along with the likes of Baxendale. That confrontation there just signaled there's more to come. The fitter will prevail on this occasion. Canterbury looking strong.
Lima, again, so impressive. 36 tackles, the skipper. And I'll tell you what, the Hornby Panthers must be absolutely wrapped to have a bloke of his style of work rate.
But
Johnny Lima.
more importantly, though, Wellington are grateful to have someone of the calibre of Wedderter there. That was a wonderful kick. From putting him just outside their 30, now putting them in Canterbury territory, just outside the 20-metre. They need the spell, put it out, consolidate, real group.
3 or 4 metres would have done them a nice turn. Chris Bamford being worked wide here by Brent Stewart. Been doing so effectively. Does Canterbury feed the scrum now? Josh Rubin looks at the back and finds Johnny Arnold. Through the middle comes the number 5. This is Jamal O'Carroll. Junior Sullivan away from one. Climbing upon his back is Jamal Tamayeva. 12 out from the line. Quick play, the ball needed. It's given to O'Carroll. O'Carroll finds Baxendale. 10 metres away from the try line now, Baxendale. Slow to his feet. Not surprisingly, it was a big collision in the tackle. Through the middle we come with the try scorer, Puke. Spins like a spinning top. And to ground, only 6 metres out from the try line.
They need to find something special. Wellington, they're in trouble.
Sherlock works it for Rubin. Rubin wide, picks up Mola. On the far side of the field, the attack comes to an abrupt halt. 8 from the line. Through the hands, Mola looking across field. The chasers, who is there for Wellington. Ball to ground, not forward. Referee says no. Referee says that'll do me. Well, Canterbury are in again. Just over 8 minutes to play, and they are in for another try. It's 18-11 with a kick to come from close range.
Worked hard all afternoon. It was a play that I thought they were better served going through the hands. But right from the outset, the break here from inside their own 20 metres, Canterbury, Wellington were a side that needed to come up with something special. Gregorius came up with the tackle. That was the start. But they were never, ever composed. Canterbury certainly in full flight, anticipating they were the ones with all the momentum going forward. Been strong this afternoon. The likes of Baxendale, Bamford, the back rowers. And just present again on the back end of that kick. Plenty of pressure. Created the opportunity and they finished it off.
They've changed their kicker here as well, at the number 6. Just to take the kick, Simon Monga from the Celebration Lions, his first year with the Bulls. And he makes no mistake this time around. Leon Williamson was well-sighted, better than ourselves. I was a little curious as to who would knock the ball where, but he had no hesitation whatsoever. Trevor Clark realises that it's 9 points to pick up in 7 or so minutes. They really have to get a move on here.
I think more importantly what Trevor recognises through body language is that his side is in trouble. Canterbury for some time now have been one that are full of running in their game, and certainly they're the side, I guess, in boxing analogy, which you would know well, Dal. They're certainly the ones that are taking it to them. They're the offensive side. They're the ones that are bringing the game to Wellington at the moment. Wellington need to come up with something. They need to turn it now, because time will become their enemy real quick.
Very much so, Pete. And of course, they need to turn over possession. Someone needs to come in with a flying hit, jar the ball loose. Here's Vince Funny up the middle. There was a chance. Again, it took 3 defenders. So, 15 from the halfway as Sherlock pops through and leaves it there for Lima. Taken by his opposite, number 2, Matulino. It's been a good performance today by Wellington, but perhaps not good enough. What have they got left in their kit bag? This man's tried hard all day. That's Breda Faramo.
And they've gone to their smarts department as Canterbury. Play the ball, get some meters, establish yourself, get to your kick. 20 to 11, they don't want to lock it up, but they certainly don't need to find something special, magical. They don't need to pull anything out of a bag. They just need to complete, play out the time.
That's for Canterbury. For Wellington, well, they've got to make the play. Expect the chip and chase. Something to split them up. Through Werita. He's been exceptional and inspirational today. The double around and flick out the back door. As Werita again is forced to offload, as they will, a la Parramatta Eels, where don't get tackled, just leave it behind yourself. Good little run as well. This is Lazarus Mulu.
It's going to be tough. Canterbury,
Canterbury
football sides that love to defend. If they've got someone, there's no way you're taking it from them.
Little offload, hot 2, Dean. Look back on the tape, he's somewhat disappointed that he allowed his emotions to get in the way of his common sense. As Werita goes for the chip, ball to ground. Werita's come up with it. No, he hasn't.
It's all Baxendale, read it well, used the foot. His response was quick. Expect some simple carries. Look to the likes of Fare and that. They're tired, they've done a lot of work, but they'll look to him again. The speed men will get him, they'll get him the acting half. They'll look to get some meters. They'll look to frustrate Wellington now. Wellington know they need the ball in hand. Canterbury keep it away from them for as long as you can. Here comes Aranga again, he's been good.
Yeah, Johnny's cut into the line at very opportune times, and it's kept them on the back foot, the defenders. Here is Vince Funny, throws the dummy, and then puts the pedal to the metal, or the other way around. Little chip from Sherlock, looks to go out. Yes, it does. Finds touch in goal.
Wasn't quite sure what the call was going to come out of Aaron Whitaker on that occasion. At first glance, it looked as though he was going to judge that it had gone out.
Counting down there, and the Wellingtonians slow to get across. In different circumstances, you would have seen the teams quick, pack that scrum down and get the ref to blow time off. Dean now. Well, a Herculean effort is needed now if they're to come away with the victory and therefore the place in the final. But at the moment, those of you watching up in Auckland will sense that you better book your plane tickets to Christchurch next week.
And we go back to the last encounter. If and should Canterbury continue with the lead that they've got at the moment and get success at the back end of it. The last time they played Auckland, they beat them 32 points to 30. A tough encounter, game 1. Much has changed between these respective sides, and Canterbury looking to continue in the vein that they have right from the outset, and that's about being unbeaten. It was a shaky, nervous start this afternoon. Wellington certainly taking the game to them. Plenty of mistakes by both.
Just as the scrum packs, Pete gives us a quick time to flick through some of these interesting stats. I'll do the tackles if you can have a quick look at the hit-ups while we've got a little break. For the Canterbury Bulls today, Lima, outstanding, 38 tackles. Sherlock with 32. Funny with 24. 19 from Baxendale, 14 from October.
Most important one for me, though, Dale's looking at completion rate, 87% for Canterbury, 59 for Wellington. How much things have changed so quickly after 40 minutes of footy. 40 minutes of football, both these sides were sitting under 60 in terms of completion. They took a talk by the respective coaches at half-time, and the talk that obviously delivered there by Brent Stewart on the money. He got 65 all the way up to 85, 20%. Big plus.
But a big turnaround from the half-time. And of course, we mentioned it just before the break, Pete. The try was scored just a couple of minutes the other side of half-time, and it just gave them some confidence coming out in that second 40. If they'd gone in at 10-0 down, well, Wellington may well have come out and played to the top of their game. As it's sort of come out this afternoon, it's Canterbury really that have done much better in the second half.
You also got to recognise what's going on down here in Canterbury as well. There's 3 or 4 guys across from the Union Code playing for Canterbury this afternoon. So certainly plenty of attraction, plenty of interest in wanting to play the game of rugby league in the south.
Predator with Hogan. He's moving the ball around. Then out to Mulu. Lazarus will play the ball, a couple of metres inside the 40. Later goes to Fade Armour. Gunning down, and at the back there, Ardanga. And it's a great tackle. Big effort too from Beretta Failumo. Little run from the far side. Hit-ups. Well, for Wellington, Dean has hit the ball up from the number 1 position 21 times today. He's been busy. Matulino as well. Timmy. The hit-ups for Canterbury. Well, Ardanga's done that 20 times. 12 for Puke as well. So the Bulls now is winding down the clock as they head towards the final, which will be played here next week at 2 o'clock. Auckland will come south. Auckland looks slightly forward, and Leon Williamson was well positioned to pick it up too. He's had a good game today, the referee. He certainly conveyed the messages that he wanted conveyed to the players clearly. And as we've seen, doesn't stand for any nonsense. As young Dean found when he was marched for 10, and subsequently his team conceding 2 tries during that time he was off the field. In 13 is Pat Matulino. A wonderful turnaround for Wellington and Trevor Clark, their coach. Something to work on for next season. Shannon Hogan to ground. On the 30-metre line now. 20-11. Just on 40 seconds to play. So they came down. They have certainly played better than what happened last time when they went down by 30 points. This time around, arriving yesterday, steadying themselves for the semi-final challenge in the Bartercard Provincial Championship. But it wasn't to be. And Redditor slotted a field goal to make it 11-10. But Pete and I thought that Wellington may just come home the stronger. As it turned out, it was the Bulls who did so, and Patrick Hunt has been very good this afternoon. Unfortunately, that late try will be too late to change their fate, even though the kick will come very quickly. By our reckoning, the hooter due to sound any moment. 20 points to 15 with the kick to come. Jamal Tamayeva, as I say, celebrated his birthday last night. We'll get the chance to add the extras, but it will be all to no avail as the curtain comes down on a very interesting and enjoyable semi-final. The Canterbury fans rise up as one. Their team, although they did it tough today, have done enough. And some outstanding performances through that Canterbury team. Ardanga was superb in number 1 today from the fullback position. Bamford likely caused no end of problems. Baxendale with 22 tackles and 9 hit-ups was also very effective. And good to see Big Vince Whare out there leading from the front with 25 tackles and 14 hit-ups. In the end, though, they were down by 10-6 at half-time. They've come back stronger in the second half, and it is the Canterbury Bulls who will meet up against Auckland next week. And you'll get the action right here on Sky, the home of the Provincial Bartercard Championship. Well, Peter Ropati's been able to go down and talk with the Canterbury captain. Let's get his thoughts after the win.
Well, Johnny, I guess I couldn't script a tougher game. Half-time must have been one hell of a speech there from Brent Stewart.
Yeah, he told us to get back to basics, you know, do what works for us, which is completions and territory. So luckily for ourselves, we've done that.
Mate, you came into the match with a good result up against Wellington last time round, so you must have been full of confidence, but it's about on the day that matters.
That's right, on the day, no tomorrow with these semi-finals. So, yeah, we knew you had to just wipe the board clean with what happened last time.
The second half, when you look at the performances of some of your big points, Whare particularly, Puki, they were strong.
Our props have been outstanding this year. They've got real good go forward and given plenty of room out on the edges for us.
And now you bring Auckland down to your turf.
Yeah, it's about time we had a final down here, so really looking forward to it.
And good to have Provincial Rugby League back.
Oh, it's awesome, yeah, it's good for the game.
I wish you all the best for next week, bro.
Thanks, Pete. Cheers, mate.
Johnny Limmer, 42 tackles and 9 hit-ups. Absolutely wonderful. Well, here is the tail of the tape. And as you can see, not much really separating these two teams. Penalties favouring the home squad by 4. But as you can see, not much in that to separate them. We'll have a look at the other stats as well. Well, line breaks fairly even. The offloads, though, Wellington really turned it on in the first half, but were unable to keep it up in the second half. And the missed tackles as well cost them dearly in the latter stage of the game. Let's go to the Wellington skip with Pete on the field now.
Anton, when you two sides came together first time round, the result went Canterbury's way. So you came here perhaps not quite sure, but you delivered in the first 40.
Yeah, no, we did, eh? The boys just didn't fire in the second. So it was, yeah, bit of a mixture game, mixture 2 games, 2 halves.
It was a mixture. Both sides in the first 40 guilty of just turning it over. Completion rate was poor, but you must have felt confident going at half-time despite that they just scored.
Yeah, no, we were confident as we was to come out. Good set of sick, get back down there, but, a few penalties, handling errors cost us, the game.
It's always tough, though, coming to the South Island, coming to Canterbury. It's tough work. You've got to bring your best.
Yeah, we do, mate, we do.
But you've got to be pleased with the way that it's travelled for you. Provincial Rugby League back, it's got to be good.
Yeah, no, mate, it is good, eh? Hopefully can carry on better next year.
I wish you all the best for next year, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Anton Wedeta there, unfortunately not able to captain his squad into the finals next week, but this team will be joining Auckland in the final. It's 20-17, the final score, the conversion successful as well. And we'll be back in a moment to go through and evaluate the rest of the game and let you know about the final coming up in a week's time. Back soon. So a turnaround for the Canterbury Bulls in the second half after going in with a 4-point deficit at half-time, and certainly Wellington with a better squad in the first 40. But then the sin-binning of the fullback for Wellington put a 13-man attack on a 12-man defence, and the Wellingtonians paid dearly. Let's have a look at how the tries were scored. Josh Rubin steers it on the inside. Bamford was really powerful, whether it be down the right flank or up through the middle. He certainly set the foundations, and a little offload here, working wide, and they just had the numbers, and eventually flicking the ball along Canterbury out to the number 4, October, who was able to get in and score for them now. A long-range field goal, made it 11-10, and we thought, well, it's Wellington. Then came the Canterbury Bulls, and again, have a look at Bamford. He powers in with the angled run, gets so close himself, and the very next play, Jay Puke was too close to the line, and the powerhouse Cook Islander was able to bowl his way over. Great play. And then the Bulls, they weren't done with yet. A little insightful little step, and then cutting through the hold and careering downfield was their number 5, and then the crossfield bomb working out for them. And as it turns out, a late try to 20-17. Well, one of the best in the business was Chris Bamford, and he's talking with Pete.
Chris, it's always the way to play Provincial Rugby League. It's tough and it's hard.
Oh, for sure. It's tough out there today. Yeah, the game of 2 halves, as you've seen, and I'm just happy to come away with the win, yeah.
Mate, I couldn't help but ask your coach, Brent Stewart. It must have been one hell of a speech at half-time.
He wasn't a happy man, to be honest. We got the rev up we probably needed. Yeah, and we come out in the second half, and a different story.
You had the wood over Wellington. You got a good first-up result, 32-zip, but you knew they were going to be different, but that different?
Yeah, we sort of knew by the results that they were getting during the weeks past that we knew they were going to be tough, and that when we beat them, the 32-0, we knew that they were going to come out a different side. Yeah.
And now the thought of Auckland and coming to your house, it's certainly something to look forward to.
For sure. I think I've heard some speeches from old Stewie. haven't played a final here since '93, and I believe the Canterbury come away off a win. So looking forward to Auckland next week for sure.
That was important. I noticed, Brent, you were talking about that pre-game, that the importance of bringing a final back to this part of the world, Addington Showgrounds.
Oh, for sure. It's massive for supporters and us. I mean, just can't wait. I've got a few injuries in the house, so got to get over a few injuries and hopefully be right for next week. So
one thing about local league, you can go back and have a beer now.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Good luck, thanks very much. Thanks, guys.
Well, beautiful spring day down here in Christchurch, albeit a bit cold. Hey, look what's coming up your way. Canterbury Auckland next Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. It coincides with the action coming in from across the Tasman. And don't forget to pick up on 40/20 tonight, featuring the one and only Benji Marshall. That's at 7 o'clock on Sky Sport 2. Well, the provincial powerhouses of the 13-man code are going to do battle next week. You'll get all the action here on Sky. But for now, from myself and Peter Ropati, it's a very warm good afternoon from Rugby League Park in Christchurch.